Okay, everyone, let's rock and roll. Welcome to the Saturday live stream. We're gonna get started here in just a couple minutes, and we're going to be going through some subscriber stock picks. We're going to be looking at various charts, analyzing kind of how the week played out. Again, you always want to look at your trades and why you took the trades, why you like a certain setup. And again, that's all part of the prep work that's put in before you make the money. So oftentimes what I like to do is excuse me, I get set up and prepped before the trades actually play out. So we're going to just sip on some coffee this morning, and look at these charts. And we're going to see what we can find for next week. So I'm hoping that you guys can come with some stock picks or some charts that you guys want me to look at. Very often in these live streams, we will find some trade ideas for the next week. To give you guys an example, one of the ones that we found, I believe it was this GPL, Great Panther Mining, kind of a trash penny stock, and I don't invest in these for sure, and these are, these definitely aren't the main, my main focus. These are kind of like icing on the cake. But this one came out in a live stream, so someone pointed it out, I think way back here or something, and I just kept it up, looking at it, watching it, and then sure enough, when we got the breakout, we took the trade. I pointed it out in the videos, and from the point of the breakout, if we just measure it from there, it's about a 60% gain in 6 days. So that's what we're looking for in this live stream. Let me know if the audio sounds good, and we'll go through some charts here in just a second. I'm just trying to let a few people come in, letting everyone know that I do live streams. Some people asked, how they know when I can go live. I think you have to hit that notification bell. I don't know how YouTube really does it. My focus really isn't YouTube. I'm focused more on the charts and actually trading. All right, I put my money where my mouth is, and so far this year it's been a pretty good year for me, and hopefully anybody that's been following these, because I know a lot of these trades have been coming in pretty good. Okay, so we'll get started here in 1 minute. I'm going to get started. We're going to go through these charts. And one thing I just was talking about is the fact that I do think it's important to do your homework before the trade. So that's what I'm teaching in my stock market technical analysis course. For the most part, that course isn't going to teach you about like day trading. It's not going to teach you about, it's not going to teach you about how to jump into the action the moment that everyone else is jumping into the action. No, what it's really going to teach you is how are you set up to be the smart money. All right, that's the goal of, my course really attempts to make you the smart money and sell to the dumb money. And when I say smart money, I'm, basically the institutions. We want to trade with the institutions. We want to sell to the mania, to the momentum, to the, and you can momentum trade here and there. I took a momentum trade this week actually on Tilray, TLRY. I didn't have an opportunity to point it out in the channel. It was too fast, and it's not really what I'm teaching. So, but the technical analysis course that I put together teaches you about how to be the smart money, how to analyze charts, how to get set up, how to analyze the setups, and then how to take positions when really no one else is taking positions, and then we just kind of wait for the money to roll in, All right, so we're going to start out with, I'm going to go through the broad market analysis real quick, and then we'll look at these FANG stocks. We'll do gold real quick, and then we're going to jump into the stock picks that you guys have. So triple Qs. I have this this 200 EMA right up here, SMA, simple moving average, right there, like 368. We could get up there, all right? That's completely possible. We also have this line of resistance right up here at 378. You can see that was kind of the plateau of the top in triple Qs. And guys, I think the top is in. I'm trading it as if the top is in. I might be proven to be wrong, and again, that's why that's why it's important to take positions at key levels. So if we end up being wrong, we know when we're wrong, and we're wrong small. All right. So, but I do think the top is in, and a lot of this is the thing. I think we're in a bear market rally. All right. That's what my impression is right now. This rally, I was kind of looking back on triple Qs. And you see how impulsive this rally is? It's just going straight up. And I was kind of rolling back and looking at, where we can find rallies this impulsive. And, I'm not really seeing anything that's that impulsive. You still have a lot of selling days. This kind of right here, you still have some selling days in there. So maybe it's something like that, but that was basically near the top. This was just straight up pretty much at the all-time highs. The end of that rally ended in the all-time highs, roughly. So I'm treating this as a bear market rally until I'm proven wrong. And that is something that, again, I'm still in sell the rip mode. But I'm not short right now. I'm probably going to be short next week, guys. I'm probably going to be looking to load back into those shorts. But again, I just need to see a little bit more proof that this rally's done. All right, so I'm looking. If we could rally into the EMA right here, 368, I'd probably, I'll probably start taking shorts right there. If we start breaking down, I'll probably start taking shorts. SPY. Oh, sorry. One more thing I want to point out on the Qs. Let's look at the hourly here. So you can see we started to build that negative divergence. Again, this is all stuff I teach in my course, so if you don't understand these concepts, you need to take the course, all right? And I made it accessible for everyone. I priced it at $99. It's available for all. You should be able to afford that if you're in the markets in any real meaningful way. And if you're serious about learning not making costly mistakes and learning on your own, all right? That's for $99, I think you can really fast track a lot of the expense that comes in learning trading and learning the markets. Okay, doesn't mean I'm not going to guarantee you're never going to lose money because I can't control your emotions, and that's the other thing. That's really, it's part of trading and everything is emotions. A lot of people feel like this rally is off to new highs, and that's what bear market rallies do. So if we're in a bear market rally, then I think we're about done with it. You can see negative divergence on the hourly, but we still, kind of holding. So we also have this support zone. You could maybe wait for a break of this 352.20. It kind of held it all week. And you can see that was resistance here, support all through here. So if we break down, that could be your sell signal. So here's how I'm looking to trade this, just so you guys are aware, because I probably won't be able to point it out at the moment of time. That's the best entry. If we get an hourly breakdown right here, hourly close, maybe we gap down on Monday, I don't know. But if we get that hourly breakdown there, that's a sell signal. That's where I'd want to be short. Or we could rally up into this 200-day simple moving average around 368.50. I'd probably want to short into a move, into that move. And I'm not going to wait for the very perfect tag of that. I'll probably start building a position into that, okay? Because likely what would happen is we'd rally. The sellers will see that we're rallying into that. They'll step in early and start to sell. Just like they did right here, and here, all right? So that's what I'd be looking for. But if we can't get up there and we just break that 352, 352.30, hourly close below that, that's my sell signal. All right, moving on now. SPY's not that interesting to me, to be honest. I know SPY's got defensive plays in there, so I think a different way to play, like look at the SPY, you know, is look at tech, all right, because that's your momentum. Tech moved very strongly to the downside, and it's been rallying pretty strongly to the upside. So I think look at tech is important. But then if you want to kind of get a clean look at SPY, you can look at something like XLP too, and we can look at that here in a second. That's consumer discretionary. That's defensive stuff. Small caps, all right, big resistance level, and my chart looks like a mess from the week. You know, my charts look like a battleground, like a schematic at the end of the week, because I'm doing these videos pointing things out all week long, and I'm also trading, and I just don't go back and clean them up. But there it is, 209. We have not recovered that. So until you recover that, it is resistance, all right? And it is not, I mean, there's nothing bullish about it, right? All right, so the recovery is the bullish action. We might get a little break above it, all right? I wouldn't put it past this, but what I'd be looking for is if we break into this range, what are the other charts doing, like triple Qs, where are they at? And then also, can it hold? If you see the break above it and it fails, that's your bear trap, or sorry, your bull trap. That would be a clean sign of a false breakout, and that would be a sell signal. All right, so you break above and come back below, that's a sell signal. Otherwise, if you break above and you hold, what are the other charts doing? You know, and you know, that's what we have to look at. As of right now, it's sell the rip. We're at resistance. You can see last week they rallied it right up to that point right there and couldn't close the week above it. So I mean, sometimes it helps to just scan to the weekly charts. You know, take a step back from the hourly, the daily, the minute, you know, if you're actively trading, and you see what we have going on. You know, we have this big, huge, ripping green candle the prior week, and then last week rallied into resistance and couldn't break couldn't break above. So technically nothing has happened to this chart. So to me, it says sell the rips at resistance, and down we go. So this one, I am still short on this one. I talked about shorting this one during the week, and I just am still short. All right, so I kind of pointed out what to look for, you know, and when to know we're wrong. If they can break it above and kind of hold, then maybe we're wrong. We get out of the shorts. Otherwise, I still see this going down to this 170, right down in here, 173 to 170 area. All right, bear market rally. And this isn't even much of a bear market rally, but I mean, if you roll back and look at some other bear markets, which we haven't had one for a while, but let me zoom in. Here's the Great Recession kind of bear market. And yeah, see, you get like 2 weeks of pretty strong rallying followed by selling. You rally, you sell. So this is how bear markets start. This was the top here. In 2007, you make your leg down, you rally up. It got almost to the highs, but couldn't quite get there, and big leg down, you know. So bear markets don't just go straight down. They don't crash like COVID crash. They work their way lower, especially in the beginning. Towards the middle and the end, they do start to crash. But we're nowhere near the we're in the beginning. If this is a bear market, we're in the beginning of it. All right, enough of that. XLP, this is that, you know. So look, this is the weekly chart of the consumer discretionary. And you can see big weekly negative divergence. See it right there? Let me just clean that up so I can show it again. See how the price is just moving down? And, you know, the divergence, it's not really, I mean, this isn't divergence, but it started right in here. You can see these weeks we're still moving up, and it will show clean on the daily. But bearish rising wedge, all right? We overshot the wedge right here, and then boom, breakdown. Now this is a reflexive bounce. I don't want to let this thing go, but I think the next break that you see of this, if we see it, a weekly breakdown, that should be the real deal sell signal. Again, that's on the weekly chart, so you're likely going to want to not wait for a weekly close, but on the daily, you can see here's your negative divergence. Really started right there. This high, right in here, that was a divergent high. See the high? Higher high in price, lower high in momentum than the previous one. Okay, not so much on the PPO actually, but RSI divergence. And then you bounce, and the next break I think is the real deal. Now again, this isn't a big mover, so it's not that interesting to me to short, you know, because it's just consumer discretionaries or consumer staples or whatever, and not a huge mover, but something that we can watch to give us an indication that there's likely going to be a broad market sell-off. If we see tech selling off and we start to see these selling off, SPY should be selling off as well. All right. I'll show you guys this Tilray trade. Now, again, it's not a trade, all right? It's not a trade right now. But I want to point it out because it's just highlighting the what I teach in my course, basically. So this one had a downtrend line here, clean downtrend, and you could probably almost, I didn't really care about the bottom too much, but, you know, maybe something like that. And what I was more interested in is the fact that it was making this bullish falling wedge pattern or this falling trend while building bullish divergence right there. See the bullish divergence? Right here. Again, this isn't something that I would recommend, you know, any beginners do. But I just threw this up on my charts, and I was just watching it all week. And I figured, because I saw GameStop and AMC ripping to the upside, and all these like garbage stocks. These they're just the meme stocks and stuff. Bed Bath and Beyond was moving higher, so I threw this up there, thinking, okay, these kind of pot stocks look like, you know, they're the speculative retail stocks that people love, and then it broke out on Thursday, I believe, in the afternoon. And I looked over at my chart that I had in my upper right hand corner, and I saw that the volume was coming in and starting to break out, and I just hit it really quick. I did not catch this move right here on Friday. I actually sold my position at the end of the day on Thursday, but still like a 25% gain in a matter of like a couple hours. So I was happy with that. Wish I obviously held it overnight, but that was increased risk I really didn't want to take on this kind of trade. Now, you know, and we had some resistance right here at 733. This thing's, I don't know where it's going at this point, but I just want to point out, it's all about finding the divergences, finding the trend line, taking your entry at the key levels. So that's it. I didn't even talk about it in my channel because I just didn't think there was any point. Since it broke out in the afternoon, it was just like, I didn't have time to let you guys know about that one. Is the audio any good? How's the audio? I can adjust it. You guys let me know how the audio sounds. I'm going to adjust my gain here for a second. There is about a 20-second delay, so I'm going to try to get this audio dialed in. I move it around and I never really change it, and I can't hear it, so let me know how that sounds. Test, test, test. Okay, that's better. I'm hearing echo, I'm hearing good. Which one is it? Let me move the microphone back a little bit. How's that? Is that better? It's about a 20-second delay, so I have to kind of sit here and wait, but you guys let me know. All right, well, let me try that. I'll go the other way. How's that audio? I just adjusted the gain a little bit. You guys let me know. Is that better or is that worse? And while we're doing that, let's get into gold. All right, gold. Is that better or worse, guys? Let me know. Slight echo. I don't know why there's an echo, guys. Let me try that. All right, well, how's that? We'll just keep tinkering with it. We'll get it dialed in one of these days. All right. Okay, gold. All right, so gold. Here we go. Bigger picture, guys, and I always start with like, where are we at? Bigger picture. Bigger picture, and this is the weekly chart. So don't mind all this mess up here. I want to just focus on the big picture. All right, look, bull market back in gold started in 2001, ripping bull market, and then this pattern here is called a rounding bottom, or you could call it a cup and handle, but definitely a rounding bottom. So big bear market, rounding bottom. This is a big accumulation phase over the period of 6-7 years, I believe. And it's a big rounding bottom. So lots of accumulation was taking place down here, but big bear market. Not something that I'm interested in just buying and holding and, thinking gold's going to the moon forever. I know there's a lot of gold bugs that are out there that, and that's fine. I think long term fundamentally it makes sense with what their arguments are, but I don't want to put my money to sleep for 6-7 years, and I just doesn't sound fun to me. But started this bull market then right here. All right, so we were in a bull market now. Here's your COVID crash. When this crashed, on my channel I talked about how this looked like a forced liquidation, and it was a buying opportunity, and I was buying these miners, and I doubled my positions, I believe, on a lot of the miners, and that paid off very nicely. Now we got this big huge rip, and then, all right, so we sold the miners right in here, all right, and then I didn't really start buying the miners till back in about March. I started to build positions right down here at support. All right, I was buying there, I bought here, and I was buying all along here. So this is where I was buying. Now we broke out. All right, so we broke out, and to me, this just looks like continuation of the uptrend. So you break out, you pull back. Now we could pull back to that. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. All right, so I can't guarantee that if you own the miners that you're not going to have to ride a move down there, because I just don't have any. I just can't see it, But if I go to the daily chart, you can see we've got some resistance right there at about 1962. That's kind of a former high right in here. I kind of marked that out. You can see all the little reactions that we had. We had a reaction here, we had one here, kind of one there. So that's where I think the resistance is at. We break above that, I think we're going to the all-time highs and probably going to break. All right, so we're probably going to work our way up like that. But we're right in the middle, so if we pull back, that's a buy zone down here, and if we continue higher, all good. And you could buy on the breakout. I think that probably makes sense. We've already had the double top pattern, so there's your top, there's your double top. So now if we run back up there, we're probably going to consolidate a little bit, but start to break out and set all-time new highs. I think we're going to 2,600, guys. All right, and on 26,700 on gold, and that's where I think is going on. Let's look at the GDX, and then I'm going to move on from the miners. I don't really want to go into each individual one. Look, here's the GDX. All right, someone told me that they thought it broke trend. I don't see that. So you'll see here on the daily chart, here's your uptrend line in GDX. You buy it support. We're in a bull market. We're on a breakout. Support. This is kind of the trend line that I've have established. You could adjust it. Maybe it's something like that. But regardless, we're still holding that uptrend. So until you see that breakdown, if we break, then maybe we are going to come back all the way down and test this zone of support, which is going to be all the way down here. The 200 days down there, and this breakout point. But one thing that maybe would happen is we come down, get close, and then the buyers step in, because everybody that didn't take this breakout, and I know a lot of people on YouTube, when gold was just consolidating, they didn't want to buy it. They really weren't interested. And now that it broke out, now they're interested. So there's all these buyers in the waiting that if they didn't buy it here, they're waiting to buy it. So oftentimes you don't give everyone a perfect entry, and the train might just leave the station. All right, I don't see any reason to get out of my gold miners, so that's it. And then silver looks really good to me as well. Like this one, PAAS, look at this. Looks great. I mean, I don't see any reason to get out of this. You have this downtrend line here. You've got a breakout, a back test, and off you go. Hitting resistance, not able to break yet, 28.33, consolidated all week, but any little thrust forward and we're moving beyond that and likely up to all-time highs, or at least this range, $40. That's the next target on this. We'll probably find a pullback up there if we get up there. All right, done with the gold stuff. I don't want to get into that one right now. I know you guys came for your own stock picks, so let's get into it, guys. Now I'm going to go into these individual charts. We're going to start at the top. And just let me know if you guys want me to look at a chart or you see a setup, especially a setup that I teach in my course and on this channel, then put it in the comments. And please just keep the comments to 1 or 2 stock picks per person so I have time to go through most of them. All right, let's go to NVIDIA. It's kind of interesting to me. All right, here's your highs. All right, this is what I got on NVIDIA. I've got this uptrend line on the daily chart, all these tags of support. All right, we've got to break down to the sell signal. This looks like it wants to run up and do another back test. All right, like that. That would be the area I'd be wanting to short it, right up in there. And that's it, really, on that. If I look at the hourly, we've got negative divergence now. See it on the RSI and the PPO. So these highs that we're making now, we're running out of momentum, basically, is what this is saying. Doesn't mean we can't continue to go higher, but what I would wait for is a break of this trend line right here. So the two things I'm looking to do is probably either short into resistance right up here or short on a break of this trend line, whenever that may come. All right, so you just have to kind of extend that out. All right, that's all I see on NVIDIA. But to me, negative divergence showing up tells me that this rally is about to end. Doesn't mean it's going to end here and now, and we could go higher. You need those sell signals to play out before you take a position. JP Morgan. All right, so look, bear market rally. This is what this looks like to me. It doesn't have to be that, but it definitely looks like this to me. So if I roll out on JP Morgan, this is the bull market at JP Morgan going back to 2009, all right? We've got nice support on this weekly chart, all right? There's another tag of it, all right? The Fed recovered it in the Fed recovered all the broken bullish trend lines in 2020 and 2021 because of all the money they did. That's, I guess, what they were trying to do. But the market's going to go where it wants to go, and so basically recovered, and now we failed, all right? And this looks like we've started a bear market. If I go to the daily, started kind of creating this little secondary bearish falling wedge. Broke, looks like we're coming in for a back test, all right? I don't suspect this goes much higher than there if it's going to get up there, all right? That's really all I see. And in general, if you really want to break it down, we're in a downtrend, so maybe you mark that out, like this downtrend, and just see. But anyways, zone of resistance to me looks right up in there, so that's where I'd be looking to. If you're long, maybe exit the long right up in there. Don't wait for the last penny, and if you're looking to short, maybe that's the area. Looking at the hourly chart. Negative divergence is starting in the PPO. We don't quite have it in the RSI. So maybe this wants to make another leg, maybe this wants to pop right up into this area. I would put a high probability that's what it wants to do, is run up into there, and then that's the area that it's probably going to fail. Okay, moving on. Yeah, I'm not going to do SNDL. That's one of those momentum stocks. Don't fall in love with that thing. It's probably, those are gonna die out here pretty soon. I would expect. Just like I pointed out, Tilray, TLRY. I already took profit on that with a good gain in just a few hours. That's my, if you know the company fundamentally, fine, but I wouldn't. Just trying to warn you guys on that one. SQ. All right, so there's the resistance level that I've had marked out for a while, and it's about 135.37. And look what happened last week. All we could do is they rallied it, they closed it above, still held, made it look like it was going to run. Nope, still held all week. All right, this is very interesting to me. You can see all week, basically, if I zoom in, pretty much all week we held this level right here, except for Friday, selling off back below resistance. That's bearish. That's a bull trap. All right, so if I had to measure, if I had to guess, let me look back here. See the negative divergence on the hourly? See that? This is all stuff you guys should be taking my course. If you haven't done so, it will help you. It can't guarantee anything, but this is going to give you a skill set that will should really help you find trades. I mean, one solid trade, it easily pays for itself tenfold. And all right, so there's your negative divergence. All right, so that's a divergent high right there, and down she goes. I would want to short this. So any kind of rally into that, I'd want to short. If we open Monday right in this area, or maybe gap up right in this area, that's a short to me, in my opinion. On the daily chart, we should head back down to 83.65. Yeah, we did hit that major level of support though, which is right there. This is the level of support. For weeks, people kept asking me where I thought this was going, and I said I think it's going down here to 84, or sorry, 80. Yeah, about 84. Big support, and you can see that's right. Sure enough, that's where we hit it. All right, so I don't know. Maybe that's the end of the move. It's not something that I'm really interested in. I was more interested in shorting SQ, way up here and up in these areas. Now that it's already had a huge crash, there might be one more move down again, and I could easily see it. For sure. I mean, I would short, all right, if I had to, and probably cover down here, because we might chop around here for a little while. It might do this and even break a little lower, but there might be better shorts. But yeah, that looks like a short to me. Could be bull flagging. We might be doing this and then run, but until it breaks above that, it looks like a short. All right. Yeah, I'll go through Apple, these FANG stocks. All right, here's what I'm watching, guys. I was watching it on Friday. Look at that. That's just like programmatic buying, basically. And, all right, so on Apple, I'm focused on the hourly chart here. This is what I'm looking at. Very, very key. I've got it up on my trading platform. I've drawn my levels on that platform, so I know on the 1 minute chart when it starts to break. But this is, if we get the hourly close below this, then that's when the market should start to roll over. Starting to build negative divergence on Apple. See it right there. So we might have a little bit more upside on, next week, but ultimately I'm looking for this to break. And that should bring us down. On the daily chart, broke above this level right here, so that's kind of interesting, but got some resistance right there, and we're pretty much right at it. So we should fail very soon. That's what I'm expecting. All right, 175.87. I don't really think we're going to go above that. So we should fail. You'll see it if it's going to show up, and if Apple fails and it starts to break, then Qs should go down as well. I mean, if you bought down here at support, which again, that was support, right? Big support. Support, see it all? See the trend line? That's support. We're at resistance now. I would take profit, in my opinion. If you bought down here and you're up here, I would take profit, but because I'm looking to short it. Not Apple specifically, I'm looking to short triple Qs. All right. What's Geo? Penny, kind of a junk stock. It's a REIT. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything bullish on this one. Negative momentum. It's not really bullish divergence. We got negative momentum, negative price action. I would say bearish. AT&T. All right, well, let's see. Is it a breakout? I see what you're probably looking at this. We have to narrow it down to the hourly chart to get our nice clean level. Okay, sure. That's a breakout. I see what you're talking about. Let me go back to the daily real quick. Yeah, that looks all right. You had bullish divergence right here on the RSI, and it's there, and it would show on the hourly chart. So there's your breakout. That's a buy signal, I would say. This thing's not my favorite to trade because it's like a big dividend pair. But all right, maybe we get up to here in the 200, right up there, 26.30. That's resistance for right now. But yeah, that looks like a breakout. This is, and this is in a bear market basically. Here's your highs. Fell 44%, so I like that for a long. All right, moving on. And, you'll probably find some resistance here. But from where it's at right now, 10, 11%, that's not bad. All right, Barrick. I'm long Barrick, so I like it. And I pointed out the GDX. XHB has been falling. That's the home builders. That's all home builder stuff. XLK. I talked about triple Qs. So yeah, it's not difficult. It's really not that difficult to pick the top and the bottom because it's all about when you take the position, right? If something's rallying, I don't just say, okay, short it right here and now. All right, what I say is let's look for setups. Let's look for the momentum starting to fade. Let's look for the trend line supports to break. That's when we take our position. So we have a couple key things that we look for, and when those things trigger, that's where we take the position. And then we manage risk, right? We're not going to be right every time, so when we take that trade, we manage that risk and know when to stop out. And that's it. That's the name of the game. So it's not that difficult. It's difficult to pick the top and the bottom if you just put your thumb in the air and say, okay, I think the wind's going to blow here now because Russia's doing this. And the headline is that's just nonsense. Traders, professional traders are moving money around not based off of what some headline is in CNBC. They're moving money around based on the technicals, especially if you're in a bear market. In a bear market, the fundamentals don't matter. Good companies with strong earnings get thrown out with the bad, especially in the day and era of passive investing where when the indices sell down, they got to sell everything in that indice. All right, so technicals rule in volatile markets, which is what we're in right now. All right. I can look at Bitcoin, guys. It's not my favorite. I don't trade it. It's very volatile, and this is all I have on BTC, Bitcoin futures. I've got some resistance right here. You can see the 200-day right now has been playing kind of in the wall of resistance, so they're smashing it at the 200. Look, I don't even have, you've got bullish momentum right here, but you also have bullish price action. So that's not divergence. So it just tells me, it doesn't tell me anything on this chart, to be honest. It just tells me that we're in this big base, big, good, strong support at 31,000 and resistance at the 200-day. Let me look at the hourly, see if there's anything I can grab from it. Not really. I can't get anything from this chart, so honestly, I just don't know. It's kind of dead money right now. It's just this big sideways thing. That's all I have. All right, I am moving on, trying to get through these guys. I'm not going to go through all the different cryptos and stuff. I covered JPM already, so if you want to go back and look, let's look at Palo Alto. That was a previous short that I had on. I took off all my shorts basically. 2 weeks ago or whatever. I talked about it. I put comments in there. I let everyone know that, guys, it looks like we're going to get a rally, and that was actually a kind of a perfect time to cover all our shorts. So hopefully you were able to do that. And but now we're looking to probably put those back on here pretty soon. All right, not quite yet. I've got an IWM short. That's it, really. That's the only short I have right now. So looking to put some other shorts on here pretty soon. Because again, I'm looking for a bear. I'm interpreting this rally as a bear market rally. That's going to be right or wrong. We'll have to find out. Nobody really knows. There's your bull support right there on the daily, and where we've held that support. So this one. I remember back when we did this. All right, this trade was a short right here on this former high. We had some negative divergence starting to build right in here. That was a divergent high, and we took the short right in there, and the market was starting to sell down too. So I was looking for a move down to the trend line right here. If I go to the daily, I was looking for a move right down to the trend line. We didn't quite get it. They stepped in early, and that's where I covered my short. It was right down there. When I started to see everything kind of step in early, the market kind of holding its support level, I covered the short. But ultimately, the trade worked out really nicely because we shorted it right up in here, down to this area. It was like a 14-15% gain. Now it's made a new high. All right, so what is this high? It is, momentum, stronger momentum than before, for sure. I don't know. I'm not really interested in shorting this thing right now. What I'm going to look for on this would be a break of this trend line. That's going to be our next trending trade. We caught one of these little bull dips right here, but I'd rather just wait for this to break this trend line now. You got the 200-day just marching right below it. So I think it makes sense now to not press our luck and just wait for a nice break of trendline support. Until then, it looks bullish. All right. Sorry if I skip you guys. I'm not trying to skip you, but trying to get to all of them. Drop me a thumbs up. I got 28 likes. We got about 70 people in here. Drop me a thumbs up if you haven't done so. Put that, hit that thumb button, and also hit the notifications too if you guys want to know about when I'm going live and stuff. Yeah, TLT. I do have some thoughts there. Let's look at that one. And probably could mark something out like that, Looks like we're at or near some support. Now it's only two. I only have 2 data points. 1 and then 2 right here. So can't confirm that as a trend, but we might hold this area. Rates have been spiking quite quickly. The only thing that's going to stop the rates from spiking or continuing to spike is likely a market sell-off where institutions move into bonds. That's just their knee-jerk reaction. Market sells off, move into bonds for a trade. So, and that should be bullish for gold too, but that might be what we see next week or maybe the following week is tech and markets starting to sell off, and then bonds rallying. Bonds can't go too much lower, and the interest rates go too much higher without real problems happening. So I suspect you're going to start to hear things from the Fed that are negative for the market or hawkish sounding. I don't know if we get an inflation reading out next week. Maybe that's what sets it off. But ultimately, I think maybe inflation comes in hotter than expected. The Fed's going to come out extra hawkish and try to walk the market down. That's what I talk about. They're trying to walk the market down, which means rates will probably go up. Or, sorry, TLT will go up. Interest rates will come down a little bit. Mortgages are hitting like 2-year highs with the prices where they're at. Things just can't go out of control. The Fed is not going to let things go out of control without trying to fight it. So that means that they're going to come out and try to fight the spiking interest rates with hawkish talk and take some steam out of the market. That's what I see on that one, guys. Not something I'm interested in trading in terms of TLT, because I don't want to put hundreds of thousands of dollars in this to make 5% when I can, it doesn't move that much. It's better to pick some other things. All right. I covered XLP already. Yeah, we might gap down on Monday. I'm not short a lot of stuff, so if they gap down, hopefully it's not too large of a gap, so I can get short. But even if they do gap down on Monday, depending on where that's at, I'll probably take those shorts. I like Joe, commodities. We didn't hit the 200. I was really hoping we would, so I don't know. We might roll down and hit it or come down to this level. This is kind of a buy zone for me right here at 54.80. You could probably start to buy at the 200 as well. Looks relatively, that's the area I'd be interested in buying it. The reason why is coffee's in a bull market. All right, there's your bull trend. You want to buy on tags of the 200 or potentially just little whips below and then recoveries. So I'd be wanting to buy right in there. And, we almost hit the 200 right there. So if you bought right there, I think you just sit tight, because this could be on its way up. I did cover Palo Alto already. Sorry, guys, I'm just kind of scanning these. UDR, what is that one? Holding the 200, obviously. Negative divergence. Big negative divergence, so that sets us up in a bearish setup right there. That's your last divergent high, basically there. So if they rally up and make a new high and keep that negative divergence, I would put a high probability that that high is going to fail. Is this a defensive stock? Real estate? Yeah, it's a REIT. In nature, REITs are defensive because they pay high dividends, so they're relatively defensive. All right, so there's your support that I'd be watching. All right, right there. Support, support, support. All right, so I wouldn't be interested in doing anything on this, at least from the short end, until we broke that support line. We do have negative divergence, so it's not something I'd be really interested in going long. If you are long, I think you could just stay long, but you would want to get out on a break of that support line. So otherwise, you could do this and make a new high, and just maybe in the future it breaks. We don't know, but that would be how I would play that. All right. COTY. COTY. All right. there's kind of your I don't know, to be honest. It looks bullish, but the thing is, you got downward momentum, downward price action, downward momentum, and that's okay. That just means that maybe we're in a, kind of a consolidation to the downside before the next leg higher. Holding this trend line roughly, false breakdown right there, bear trap. There it is. Sorry, it just took me a second to see this. There's your divergent low. See the bullish divergence right there? Higher momentum, lower price, bullish divergence. So that breakdown came with, once that bullish divergence was set, it's like, oh, this is probably not good. And then, the gap up back above the support line was your buy signal or an indication that you were caught in a bear trap. So I don't know. I guess I'd say bullish if I had to pick. All right, you can't break the 200, but yeah, I'd probably have to go bullish on this one. It's a defensive stock, so everybody's hiding out in the defensive stocks. I did Baba. Yeah, these Chinese stocks are tricky, but I haven't participated in really any of this. This is what I've got. This is the resistance. It popped it above it, but it's still there. I need to see a nice clean break to the upside of this one. It's not my favorite. It had a really strong knee-jerk reaction rally, but there's no divergence. We made a new low, so I don't know. We could continue to drift lower. I'll let you know if I see anything on this one throughout the week. I do keep it up on my chart, so. And then PayPal was one that we were looking at going long. We were kind of interested. The problem that I don't like about PayPal, look, we had bullish divergence on this thing back when I was looking at it. It was something like this, but we took it out. So we've just got that's a strong divergence that was taken out. Now, short term, yeah, there was a little bit of bullish divergence right here. That's a divergent low because you can see the momentum started moving up right there. And we've seen a rally out of it. Now, we could, you got a gap, maybe you rally to the gap and fail. And then, but I doubt it. Look at the weekly chart on this. Long-term bullish trend here going back to 2016. Support all through here. There's support. Bear market, guys. Sell the rip, a rally into resistance right there is where I'd want to short it at. So that's what I'll be looking to do on this if I catch it and notice it when it does it. But a rally into that would be, that's the objective area to short at. And right now that's about 131.40 on the weekly chart. We go back to the daily. It's right up in here. So that's probably what it's going to do. Maybe look for a divergence too. If you rally into resistance and it's starting to build negative divergence, even better. All right. And maybe you pop above and they make it look like it's going to break out. This would be the best setup. I'll tell you what I would want to see. If you rally up to this resistance level and we start to put in negative divergence, and then what it does is they break it back above like this, go pop and make a new high, but that new high comes with negative divergence, I put a very high probability that that would be a false breakout. And at that point, what you could do is you could wait for it to fail and come back underneath that resistance line down to that 130, depending on when we get there, 131. But if it does that, all right, that's your sell signal because you'd have a bull trap. You'd have negative negative divergence. Okay, so that could be an entry, or you could even short it on the breakout. That's higher risk. Even though it has divergence, it's higher risk because it could keep going higher and take out the divergence. So the best trade would be take it on a failure back below, and then from there down she goes, or at least it should. At a minimum, it should at least gap fill. All right, that would be a bare minimum. Very high probability trade, and that would 10-12% gain. All right, I'm going to do just a couple more, and then I am going to wrap up. So hopefully you guys have found some value out of the content. Yeah, I have LLY on my chart. I just don't see it. I don't see the trade here. This trend line, I probably need to just get rid of this because it's just not. Yeah, there's just no, I don't have anything on this one. No trade for me. Yeah, INTC. Well, INT is still bearish though. I was watching it; it was ripping. But look, bigger picture, INTC. We're in a bear market. Look, this is 2009. There's your bull market in Intel. All right, we've got really strong support right here at 43.71. I don't want to let that one go yet, but the bull trend is broken. So false breakdown here, we covered it, hit it, but so right now there's no trade here because we're right in the middle of the zone. This is big resistance up here, and this is big support down here, and we're right there in the middle. So no trade. You just gotta let this thing develop. Whether it wants to rally into resistance, you could short it, or you could buy it at support. But I think it's gonna break the next time. So I'd probably be more interested in a break. And that would be our next sell signal down to the next level of support, 38. All right, so that's what I got on that one. Nothing else going on. CHGG. All right, well, what is that? What is that one? Chegg. Yeah, I don't know what this one does, but that's all right. Looks like a bear market rally to me just from this weekly chart. Look, here's your bull market. Okay. Support. This is COVID, obviously, so just that's an outlier. X that out. Support, support, support. All right. Bear market. That's a huge breakdown, but probably due for a bear market rally for sure. Just looking at the weekly. And look, you got bullish divergence on the weekly. That's a divergent low. So yeah, I like that as a long for a bear market rally. Just understand what it is. Okay? Probably gap fill or this 200. Probably gap fill, probably going to rally up into this, hit the 200, chop around, and then pop it, gap fill, and fail. But why hold out for that? I would just wait. Honestly, what I would do is I would just exit the position as we approach the 200. I probably just want to get out there. But yeah, that looks good for a long to me as well. You do have gap entry, which should act as some resistance right here. If you enter gap entry, again, you're probably going to run up into this area of resistance. All right, so I like that for a long. I don't like it here, but this divergent low is probably good. I mean, honestly, it's just not I don't see a trade maybe this, a little downtrend line, and there I would have maybe taken that buy signal right there, or the back test. All right, buy signal, objective area to go long. These are all areas you could take the trade, but here I wouldn't take it. Nothing I would do on this one. But if you're long it already, then yeah, I like it. All right, moving on. All right, just a couple more, guys. I already covered BABA and PayPal, so you can go back and watch the video. Adobe's probably interesting. We can look at that one. I'm going to do 3 more, all right, and then I got to wrap up and get going. So, you know, and guys, I do want to look at these fangs real quick. Amazon weekly chart. I think Amazon's going to fail here, all right, so we're watching for that next week. Here's your bull trend in Amazon going back to 2008. So on the weekly, all right, support, zooming in, sell signal on the weekly. Don't disregard that sell signal. Now, you know, it's a battle, right? The bulls don't know, especially on this big long bull market, they don't know that the bull market's over. So, and maybe it's not over, all right? I could be wrong. Rally into resistance, fail. Rally into resistance, I'm looking for that failure. Now, they have recovered it just briefly, but the 200's right there. I think we fail, maybe next week, but looking at the daily, just barely recovered it. And that's what bear market rallies do. They make everyone, I guarantee that everyone thinks the bull market's back on. Not everyone, but I guarantee that's what a bear market rally will make everyone think the bull market's back on. That's why bear market rallies, that's why most people ride bear markets all the way down, because there's these bear market rallies along the way that really are very believable. They make, oh, the bottom's in, it's time to buy, the bull market's back on. They keep longs in their trade, and they make shorts cover. So, you know, very few people will catch a bear market to the downside. The minority will catch it, basically, and it's because there are bear market rallies and they're very believable. So this recovered. We can't recover the 200. I think we fail, but yeah, we'll see. And again, just rolling through, guys, these are the things I'm watching for next week. And it might play out Monday morning right when the market opens. But Google, uptrend line, negative divergence. All right, I'm looking for this hourly trend to break. All right, same with Apple. There it is, hourly trend. Negative divergence, I'm looking for that to break. Microsoft, that one already kind of broke, so that one's just looking for some downside. You know, probably on Microsoft, I've got this little minor thing, so maybe that breaks. Facebook, same thing, uptrend line here. Negative divergence, looking for that to break. All right, so I'm watching all these fangs. When they break, the market's probably going to break. All right, let's look at Adobe, because I know that one's been kind of interesting. At least to me it has. Weekly chart. All right, look at Adobe. 2011, clean up trend line on the weekly. All right, as I zoom in, all right, zooming in. We got a sell signal. No follow through quite yet, but still. Sell down, kickback rally, sell down. All right, so it's still a battle. I would wait, you know, if we break this one, 423.28, then as far as I can tell, Adobe's starting a bear market. And from the highs, Adobe's already down, what, 41% or so at the high. So again, I think we're probably going to break this level. For, you know, a weekly close below 424 should be the next sell signal for the next leg lower. And you'll see the market will sell down. So if we're going to get that next leg lower across the board in tech and all that, this should break too. But I don't like it long. And look at the, you know, you just have downward momentum, downward price. You know, I just don't really see. Let me look at the daily here. Yeah, a little bit of bullish divergence here on the daily. That was a divergent low, but there's every time it gets up to resistance, boom, they smash it down. So this is Chop City right here, so it's not really interesting. I'm not interested in taking a trade until I see some recoveries or breakdowns of key levels. Right now I've got it at that, you know, this kind of 422, but the weekly chart's more important. And then that long-term support is about 463-ish. Okay, so keep an eye on that. One more, guys, and then I'm going to wrap up. You know, car, I don't see anything interesting in car. It's they're holding that trend line, that bullish trend line. It was looking like it was going to back test and then fail, but they're just holding it. So not nothing really there for me on that one. XLU making new high on lower momentum. Okay, well, that would be a negative divergence. Now, this is utilities, so nothing super exciting. You can't trade the triple Qs. You can only trade the NASDAQ. Well, the Qs will follow the, the Qs will be, this is interesting right here. Let's look at this one. All right, I'll do Tesla, guys, and then I'm going to wrap up. All right, so this breakout should fail. Harry, this is, it's not guaranteed to fail, but the probability is elevated that it will fail. You've got negative divergence on the RSI and the PPO. Not fully confirmed. This is still pointed up. This needs to start to point down. But there's your breakout to new highs, all right, with less momentum. So there's your negative divergence. And so I'd wait for that failure, but I think, because it could rally more and then fail in the future, but I think there's a high probability it will fail. Trend line right here. So this is an upward price channel, and here's your trend line. Okay, resistance on your daily chart. There's another tag of resistance, and they break out. So this could maybe have a few days of rallying, but I think it's going to fail just because of the divergence. But again, wait. What you want to see, and this is kind of the step-by-step process, kind of the checklist that I put together in my mind, and I also have it on my course, but wait for the divergences to show up to confirm. All right, you want to see those start to point down and confirm that negative divergence, and then wait for the price to break down back below that trend line. That's your sell signal. And if that happens, then the probability is elevated that you will go to the bottom of the trend line, the bottom of the channel, which is down here. You're not going to do it all at once, but you're probably going to go down here, bounce, hit the 200, bounce, and eventually be like down there. All right? So that's your setup. Nothing to do on it yet, but things to watch for. Last one, guys. I got to get going. I've been going for about an hour now. Tesla. All right, so this is very similar to the other FANGs, and Tesla kind of is a FANG now with the market weighting it has. So you have an upward trend line. We broke, but it's just been drifting sideways. So not the best sell signal. Not, it's definitely not there. You're probably going to want to wait for it to take out these lows now, this support level, and no negative divergence. All right, we have bullish momentum, bullish price action, bearish momentum, just mildly bearish, sideways price action, no negative divergence. So that tells me likely what Tesla's going to do next week is pop up to the highs, run up to maybe hit this trend line up here. It's going to go like this and put in that negative divergence on a back test of trendline resistance. So if I look at the daily, we've got support, all these tags of this trend line. There's another one. So I think we run up, hit that. We hit that from underneath, back test it from below with negative divergence. That's an objective area to short, all right? But again, we don't have that negative divergence. So what I want to see before I just jump into a short is, does it rally into this resistance with negative divergence? And if it's not there, well, does it show up? Maybe we hit it and trade here for a little while, and then it puts in the negative divergence. If I can get this, if I can get Tesla on a back test of this trend line, and it has negative divergence on both momentum indicators, that's a very objective shorting, a short right there, right? And if that happens, I think we roll down and head down. Okay, guys, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Drop me a thumbs up on your way out. Check out the Stock Market Technical Analysis course. It is there for you guys. I priced it affordable for all, okay? And I will catch you guys on Monday.